Hi there, it's Quilting Nerd, and today I have something unexpected for you because I was planning actually to finish my improv quilting project with the divide and quilt, but this has to shift because there was an urgent need for a baby quilt, and I don't know how it is for you, but for me, if I have a baby quilt, I have to make it and I have to quilt it because baby quilts are the most important quilts of all. And with this one, I am very, very pleased because it's a perfect combination. I had those fabrics, I don't know, I bought them maybe 6 years ago. It was a long time. So, because it was maybe like half a yard of each fabric, I didn't know what to do with it. 6 fabrics. And then I had the order for a baby quilt. And then I decided, why not this one? It's a perfect combination. It was enough to make the around the world pattern, which I love. It's such a straightforward, easy pattern, and those fabrics were just perfect for it. All these blues and whites with a bit of yellow just for the keeping it nice, fresh and warm. And I don't know if you have this too, that you have immediately a connection with the quilt. Like, you know, it was just the exact right fabric for this pattern and it was just waiting for this moment. So I have projects where I am just happy I made them, but there is no personal, deep emotional connection. It's just I like them, I love them, I am pleased with the quilting, I'm pleased with the pattern, and then I can just give them away without any problems whatsoever. Here in this one, I really just want to touch it and make sure that it will be quilted in a way that it's useful, that it's nice and soft, and some baby can find comfort when it's wrapped in it, or it's hiding under it, or it's cuddling with it. Doesn't matter. Simply that that the baby has fun with the quilt and it's loved. I will be pleased to give it away, but simply sometimes there are projects where you know everything is exactly as it should be. So I hope you know what I'm talking about. And today's video, because it's a baby quilt, like really for use, not for show, I want to quilt it in a relatively efficient way. And that also means not very dense quilting, because dense quilting, it then needs more washes to be cuddly. And here anyway, there is so much of busy fabric, I want to keep it efficient also, because not all the quilts must be quilted to death. Sometimes it's simply we need quilts that are quilted and finished. So I hope the lighting is okay. And today we will be talking a little bit more about quilting with roller. Here I have one of such multi-shape rollers with concave, with convex. I always confuse, I think, those two. So we have a nice circular shape, we have straight edge, so, and we have some markings for the angles, so it will be nice. And I would like to show you a few different ways how we can use rulers to quilt such a nice simple quilt and move forward. So in this case, we have a natural grid because we have squares. And as I said before, I don't want to take too much attention from the fabrics and from the colors and patterns. I'm using very neutral thread, like for me and for this video, for my videos. Those that know me or watch my videos on a regular pattern know I like to quilt with contrast. But this time I'm just taking a very nice yellow thread. It's very light yellow, so it will merge beautifully, blend beautifully with all the fabrics. So when we quilt with ruler, what I like to do, so first of all, it's a baby quilt. It's always perfect to try something new, and it has good size to be quilted on a domestic machine, even if it's a smaller machine. And then you can try something new without the risk that someone will not like it, because it's for baby. Babies don't care about perfect quilting. Babies care that they have quilt and blanket. So babies are the perfect recipients of quilts, honestly speaking. So what we can do with such a ruler and such a nice pattern on a regular grid. We can try using the oval shape, and we can just go for orange peel. Now I would like to say that I actually want to use the ruler to enhance the around the world pattern. So it will be not dominant quilting, but it will be enhancing this diamond kind of shape we have here. So I'm going to use for each of the fabrics I have, I'm going to use, of course, different, slightly different way of quilting it. And I will try to stick to the ruler only, because today we want to learn how to use rulers. Regardless of the shape that you have, try to press your ruler down and hold it against the ruler foot, but not press it against. So we do not want to exert any lateral force on our foot. So press it against the fabric, so press it down with your fingers. Also try to hold it with some of the fingers from the side. That depends on the shape of the ruler, which fingers. In my case, I'm using the finger with my ring on to hold it from the side. Sometimes I'm using my little finger for that, and the rest is just pressing. Sometimes I'm using my thumbs also to hold the ruler from the side. That depends on the size of your hands and your preferences and the shape of your ruler, of course. But the main rule is press the ruler down, because then you can move the fabric better with it, and do not press against the foot, because then we are risking damaging, exerting simply too much force there. So I will move now the fabric and the ruler. And of course, for a moment I lost the contact between the ruler and the foot, so I went a little bit off course. That's why it is important to do it at a slower pace. So now I'm repositioning my ruler, again trying to hold it against the foot, to not press it against it, and move everything together, and take it slow. Remember about the offset we have between the needle and the ruler. There is always like a 1/4 of an inch spacing in between, so we have to leave that much space between our target and the ruler. In this case, the target is the corner. So as you can see, probably you cannot see, so let me change the lighting a little bit. I hope I do not have to switch off the light here. So now you can see the shape. I hope it will work also for the video. So the camera is not complaining, so it should be fine. And again, I am positioning my ruler using the lines to know that I'm centered, so the lines are actually laying on the seams, and I am leaving 1/4 of an inch between my ruler and the target. So on this fabric I will use the half orange peel pattern. Now I can use my ruler and move to the right side, because we want to have always less fabric between the needle and the frame. So I'm always moving my quilt to the side. Now let's keep it simple. Let's use a diagonal on the white. So my ruler and many other from other ISO, I don't like to recommend anything because I pay for my tools on my own. I'm not doing any kind of commercial on my channel. So this one is from Amanda Murphy. I bought it on my own. There are different ones from different quilters. Usually they have their own ideas why they designed the ruler this way and not the other. And I like this one a lot because it has markings of different angles, and you can use those lines to orient your ruler exactly the way you need it, because it helps a lot when you quilt, when you position the ruler. So what we are going to do here, so actually let me try this one, so it will be similar to the orange peel. I will modify it in a moment, so it will be a little bit more shallow. That will be the first line. So in this case, because we are going inside of the curve, we want the ruler to be outside of the target. With this one we want it to be inside, because we were quilting from this side. With this one we want to be outside, because the needle is inside of our curve. Again, let's position it centrally, and let's move it. So I didn't really I was a little bit off because it was difficult, and again, as you see, I'm using my thumbs to hold it on the sides. So I'm not rushing. Anyway, this is Baby Quilt, so they need always extra time and love. So let's add second line with the second shape, so it will be slightly different. So you can also, in this way, you can also experiment with your rulers and learn what kind of fun shapes you can make with them. So it's learning by doing. It's always the best way, the only way actually with quilting. Almost perfect. again stitching in the ditch. So what else can we do? So we are we can always do lines on the diagonal, or we can expand on the previous design. So we already did that once, let's do it again. Now I'm using my 45-degree lines to position my ruler. And in this case we can add the dot to dot lines in the middle. Again, if I wouldn't be making this video, I would probably stick to one design, but because I'm already using quilting of this quilt for the content, then I will use this opportunity and learn on my own in how many different ways I can utilize this ruler. So now we can combine the two, so we can combine the cross shape with the oval. So the size of the squares is, I think I used 3.5 inch, so there, I can just check it. It's, I think it is 3 inches. Yep, so it's 3 inches when finished, so 3.5 inches. So it's a very good size for many rulers to try, because if you're using a domestic machine like I do, then you notice that there is an optimal size to quilt with rulers. And I have always a problem if I have to go over 8 inches, for example, or something like that. Then I have to move too much, and keeping the ruler straight over longer distances, it's problematic, at least for me. So I prefer the short distances and slightly smaller rulers, in contrast to long arm quilting. You have to, everything is falling down here. In contrast to long arm quilting, you have to move the sandwich and keep the ruler at the same time, which may affect the how clean the lines are. So take your time, don't rush, and usually everything will be fine. So I think with the yellow I will do something slightly. Now I wanted to stick with the lines. I am tempted to quilt swirls actually. So what I will do here will be, I will mark the middle, and I will be quilting lines. So that's more or less my middle line here, and because this is the middle strip, I want to then turn, and then the lines will be following the direction of the squares. So let's try that. So there will be simply lots of parallel line going here, but in this case I will be turning them in the middle. So this is going here. Now I will travel, and I will place my marking on the quilted line. This one will take the longest. But this one we will be quilting like this only on the corners, so to say. So only 4 squares will be quilted like this. And I want to finish still here in the middle. And that will be fine. So we will use the yellow squares to frame everything else. And now the last one is already the fabric we had in the middle. That's the term of the around the world pattern. And now we will repeat the design we already used, which means orange peel. Half of an orange peel. I like this design a lot. It's relatively simple. And it actually looks great when used on its own. I simply didn't want it to be too monotone for this video. Leaving space and quilting. So that would be the first row. And actually you can see very nicely how it looks like. And everything what I will do now is I will repeat the same pattern in the second row, just sticking to the color. So the white means simple cross going on the diagonal. I will just show you the second pass. Pass once more. Maybe I will zoom out a little bit so you can see this time not the quilting. I will also switch on the upper light. I want you now to have a more precise look on how I hold my hands on the roller, and pay a bit less attention to the pattern itself, because the pattern is very, very simple. And the X with dot to dot pattern. I can use my oval shapes to travel, or I can go in the stitch in the ditch, which I actually prefer in this case. going to peel element. So overall we are quilting dense enough to ensure that the quilt will be stable and survive many washing cycles. But not so dense as to affect the softness. Now it's the yellow, and there we want to quilt diagonal lines according to the direction of the squares, how they are distributed over the quilt. So in this way we are going from the bottom right corner to the upper left. And let's go first on this side. So we are adding about half an inch distance between the lines. One more. Again, I'm using the 45 degrees lines to align my ruler and make sure that the lines are almost parallel. It's hand guided, not computer quilting, so imperfections are allowed. If you want to know how I am choosing my rulers, most of the time I am just checking what's available, because similar shape ruler was already available through some other shop, but it was only in US and the shipment costs were so expensive, and it was not available in any of the European shops. So I decided to, when I've seen this one, I decided, okay, it's similar to the other one and it can be useful. So most of the time I'm just buying things that are available here. In Europe it's not always possible to have these nice selections that it's available in US. And some that would be the second line. I already secured the edge immediately. As you can see, this will be looking really very nice once it's quilted. So enough for today. That's already over half an hour video. I hope this will again help you to try something new and give you some ideas about how you can quilt a baby quilt that is consisting of simple small squares, and especially if it's such wonderful pattern like the one around the world. Thank you so much, and hopefully see you soon. Let me know what you like, what you think about the quilt and the quilting ideas with simple shape rulers. Bye!